And my hope for this film is that it shifts the global perception of the word black, which has always meant inspiration and love and strength and beauty to me. But Black is King means Black is regal and rich in history, in purpose, and in lineage.
Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So when it comes to Beyonce's trilogy project, one of the things that interests me the most about the project is I've been trying to fill out what Beyonce's message is. What is her purpose? What is the theme? What is it that she wants to tell us? What inspired her to make this project? I've spoken a lot on my other social media platforms about all of the similarities and the references that Beyonce has been pulling from her entire career and really her entire life so far for this project. And I wanted to touch base on something that I mentioned in my Act 3 prediction video. Recently, I started thinking of Black is King as a prequel to this trilogy. Now, in my last video and in the past, I said that I believe that Beyonce got this idea whenever she was working on Homecoming. The reason I say that is because I was watching the Homecoming documentary one day, and in one of her speaking parts, I heard her say that to prepare for Homecoming, she had went through her archive. If you don't know, Beyonce has an archive where she has saved every single thing from her entire career. And she said she studied her own career. And I think that when she was doing that studying to prepare for Homecoming, she came up with this idea, which is why we're seeing so many references from her career. So with that in mind, that would mean that she went into Black is King already having this idea in the back of her mind at the very least. So when I started looking at Black is King and it being this love letter to Africa, and Africa obviously being the motherland for Black Americans because of our history and how we were taken from these different countries in Africa and brought to the United States, it makes sense to set the tone and set the mood with Black is King, where you show Africa in this beautiful, regal light in a way that it normally doesn't get to be seen in Western media. Beyonce and Jay-Z, especially in recent years, the latter half of their career, have been very much all about showing Blackness and Black America in a positive and wealthier light, right? Because a lot of times in our media, we are portrayed in negative stereotypes, as most people of color are in Western media. And they have done a great job at pushing away that mold and not putting themselves in this stereotypical light while also remaining very true to their Blackness and remaining loyal to the Black community. Even in this trilogy specifically, Beyonce isn't just genre hopping for fun or for sales or because it's the popular or hot thing to do. She's doing it with intention and with purpose. And this go around, the purpose is specifically to redirect people back to the roots and the history of music and how Black people have been the creators and the founders and the starters of a lot of things in American culture and not have been given proper credit and proper due. So to take that same sentiment from Black is King of showing Africa in this light of royalty and wealth and beauty, I believe that Beyonce is bringing that story back home, and she's going to give Black America a renaissance, a reemergence of culture in a way that isn't, again, stereotypical or negative. I believe that Beyonce is going to give Black America our own version of Black is King. And this is a lot of why I believe Act 3 could be going in a different direction than what people are anticipating, is because I know Beyonce said that she dropped Renaissance first because she felt like the world needed to dance at the moment because of COVID. And while I think, of course, that's true because she said it, I think that there may be another layer to her decision to drop Renaissance first. Because when you think about it, you think, okay, well, yeah, Cowboy Carter can be a heavier topic, a heavier album, but what was it about Act 3 where it wouldn't have done the job either? I've been saying for almost a year now that I feel that Act 3 could be showcasing something that's more bougie, bougie for lack of a better word. And why that coming off the heels of COVID would not have been a good idea to drop first is because people were struggling a lot at that time. I even said months ago that I believe Act 3 could have actually been the one that was coming next, and Beyonce may have chose to push it back again because of the state of the world, because of where people are politically and financially, if there is an album that is talking about wealth or flaunting, it could be received poorly if it's dropped at the wrong time. And we've seen Beyonce do stuff like that, like pushing the Cowboy Carter tour announcement back almost a whole month because of what was going on in California. It just would not have been in good taste at the moment. And even though there were other artists who were announcing concerts and tours, there's just a different standard for Beyonce that other people are not held to. And she knows and understands that and tries to work within it, of course, within a certain boundary. You guys know that my genre theory for Act 3 leans more into the space of jazz, funk, and soul. And specifically with jazz, I talked on Twitter about how jazz has a very similar story and background to rock and roll and country, where jazz music was considered less than when Black people created it. White people called it primitive, low class, moral decay, dangerous, and even would call it jungle music and made movies and TV shows mocking Black jazz musicians. And so the irony of that, of it being considered this wild, disgusting, low-class jungle music, to now, in modern times, that they've decided to take it for themselves, jazz is considered high-class, luxury, sophisticated, classy music. Whenever you think about jazz music, you think about high-class establishments, or, a jazz club is a little bit different in vibe from a regular club. And it's just so ironic that they have decided that music that we created only gets to be classy if they say it's classy. And I feel like a lot of Beyonce's reclamation has to do with taking back this idea that Blackness is only classy when it is whitewashed or put on a white person. And even when you think about Black wealth, there's this idea that Black people who become wealthy are automatically sellouts, or they lose touch with their Blackness and they are no longer a part of the Black community or no longer want to be a part of the Black community. And there's a lot of strife between Black Americans in different social classes because of the history with the Black bourgeoisie and the way that they have treated Blackness when it comes to wanting to be seen by upper echelon. And I believe Jay-Z and Beyonce have done a really, really, really good job at not losing touch with their Blackness and with the community as they've grown in status and wealth over the years. In my last video, Beyonce's Un-American Life, I talked about Beyonce potentially being this martyr for the Black community. I didn't say the Black community specifically, I said us, but I'm going to speak specifically about the Black community here. But Beyonce being this sort of martyr for the Black community who has broken out of the American matrix, the storylines that have been taught to us that we are less than, or we are, like she says, and bigger, just small specks in the universe, and her trying to help us see ourselves as bigger and better than what we have been portrayed to be, than what they have taught us that we are. I mean, when you think about Black history and the way it's taught in America, it's taught from a very whitewashed lens, and it's often taught starting from slavery up. They don't teach us much about Africa, the motherland, and when they do, it's not in a positive light. Anytime we have to learn about the positive aspects of our roots, we have to do our own research. We have to teach each other. We have to learn from our own friends and family members and community. And so I feel like this idea of a Black Renaissance is Beyonce being our teacher and reteaching us the beauty of Blackness and its history, not from a white lens, but from a lens that makes us see ourselves as greater and royal, and getting rid of this idea that every other community gets to be wealthy and rich, or it's not even just about wealth and rich, but every other community gets to see themselves in better lights. But Black people have to stay humble and just happy with the scraps that we're given in this world. And having someone like Beyonce, who is the most loved and also the most hated, because she refuses to box herself into stereotypes of what a Black woman has to or is supposed to be, and is saying, no, I'm going to show myself and other Black women and other Black people in the light that we deserve to be seen in, and people can't stand that. And she's going to do it anyway. And I personally love the direction that Beyonce has been going throughout her career in the most recent years. And she's talked a lot about how after she had Blue, she started thinking more and more about how she wants her daughter to be represented and seen in this world as a little Black girl. And so those are my thoughts for today. It's not much of a theory, it's more so a rant. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you guys think Beyonce's message is? What is she trying to tell us? I'll see you guys in the next video.
Black, maybe that's the reason why they always mad, yeah, they always mad.